Lemon cream cheese mile high pound cake. This is an ultra cake that is super delicious. It has a nice lemon glaze. It's super moist and fluffy on the inside. That glaze is to die for. As you can see me tasting the piece as I'm cutting the cake. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's jump into the video. You're going to need some softened cream cheese, a lemon, some butter. You're also going to need some eggs. You're going to need some flour, sugar. In this video, I'm using White Lily all-purpose flour. I got some cake goop. This will be my first time using it for my pan. Some lemon and vanilla extract, some salt. Let me pause for a second and show you the salt that I'm using. I got it from Kroger. I'm also using some baking powder from Kroger, so I just want to show that just in case, you guys are looking for the same thing on a cheap budget. So before we start making the cake, I'm going to preheat my oven to 325, and I'm going to coat the pan that I'm using in some cake goop. This is a homemade cake release. I usually use Pan, but I ran out, so we're going to see how this turns out with this cake. I also threw my cake pan in the freezer to let that cake release adhere to the pan, but that is optional if you guys want to do that. So now I'm just measuring out my flour, my salt, my baking powder. I'm going to sift this together. And you see me weighing my ingredients instead of doing individual cups and doing it one at a time. I want to say it's because I'm a pro baker at this point, but it's really I don't want to mess up a lot of dishes. I also weighed out my sugar and added some lemon zest to that sugar. I don't know where that clip went, but now you see me cracking in my eggs. This is 8 eggs. These are room temperature, by the way. If your eggs are sweating, they're not room temperature. It should be completely room temperature with no type of condensation or anything on the eggs at all. I also would like to mention that my Southern Pound Cakes ebook series is on sale right now. In those books, there are over 50 plus pound cake recipes that you guys can choose from. And it's also a way to support the channel. The link to it will be in the description. I meant to say this in the last video, but do not put your vanilla extract or your lemon extract in your eggs. If you do that, your eggs will begin to scramble. I don't know why it does that, but that's just a heads up. And so I'm going to juice one lemon. I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to use this juicer that gets rid of all the seeds and the pulp and all the extra stuff that you don't want in your lemon juice. Altogether, this is about 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now, you can use some lemon juice that's already squeezed out. I just don't because it kind of tastes different than just natural lemon. But if that's all you have, I understand. Just be careful. I probably would do just 1 teaspoon. So yeah, that's about 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So we're going to put that to the side. We're going to cover that up. And now we're going to get started making the cake. In a bowl of a stand mixer, I'm going to add in my lemon sugar. This is 3.5 cups that's going in. Then I'm going to add in 4 sticks of room temperature butter. Please make sure that your butter is room temperature or it will not whip up well. I'm going to add the paddle attachment, and we're going to beat this for a good 5 minutes. Now, usually I will add in my cream cheese, butter, and sugar together, but the last time I did it, it kind of mixed really crazy. So now I'm just doing it separately. So the butter and sugar goes in first, and then after about maybe 3 to 4 minutes, I'm going to add in 9 ounces of that cream cheese. Make sure that you're stopping your mixer and scraping it down your bowl. Because I have the scraper on my paddle attachment, I really don't have to do that much when it comes to scraping down the bowl, but make sure if you're just doing a regular beater attached to your KitchenAid, make sure that you stop and scrape down your bowl. 9 ounces of regular cream cheese is going in, and then I'm going to mix that for an additional maybe 3 to 4 minutes. We're looking for this to be white and fluffy and double in value. When I stop the mixer, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. I tried to get a close-up as much as I could on my mixer, but yeah, it's going to look like kind of a cream cheese buttercream frosting. Doing this process in the beginning is making your pound cake a lot more fluffy, and it's building up that air that's going to make your pound cake tall. So I'm going to close it down again after scraping it and just give it a little bit more of a mix through. I just want to make sure everything is well combined, and you see me kind of turning it up to kind of make sure everything is creamed together properly. So now I'm going to turn my mixer to low speed, and then I'm going to add in my eggs one at a time. You do not want to rush this part, and you also do not want to mix this for very long. Part of the reason why people cakes collapse majority of the time is because they overmix their eggs. And what people don't know is the actual egg whites can whip up and add more air to your cake. And what happens is when you bake it, it's going to inflate, which means get taller. But when you take it out and let it cool, it deflates and it has gluten streaks in it. Or if you whip too much air in it, it can collapse completely. So that's why I have this mixer on low speed, and I'm slowly adding in the eggs one at a time. I'm waiting until I see like 80 to 90% of the egg yolk disappear before adding in the next egg. This is the most important part of the pound cake recipe because this has a lot of eggs in it, so this can be easier for you to overmix. So make sure that you're doing it exactly like you see it here. one at a time. Make sure it's fully combined. So once all of my eggs are mixed in, I'm going to slowly add in my sifted flour mixture, which is the flour, baking powder, and salt. I only sifted it one time, but sift it how many times you like. I should also mention this is also on low speed as well, so you don't want to go past low speed. So that reserved lemon juice that I had, I'm going to add some of that in there, and I'm going to alternate between the flour and the lemon juice. Remember that you always want to start and end with flour on every single pound cake. This is 4 cups of all-purpose flour going in, and like I said, I will leave the recipe below, but you have your salt, your baking powder in there at a half a teaspoon. And like I said, we're just alternating between the flour and the lemon juice. Make sure you start and end with flour. This might seem like it's taking a long time to do, but you do not want to add more speed to your mixer, because if you add too much speed to it, it can taste like bread and add gluten streaks, and that's not what we want in a cake. So once I add all the flour and the lemon juice in, I'm just going to give it a final mix. You kind of want to tilt your pan, not tilt your pan, but tilt your bowl a little bit to make sure that you're getting the stuff at the bottom, to make sure that when you go to pour this, that everything is well combined and it's not separating. So just kind of tilt it, move your spatula around, and this is the texture that you're looking for. It's thick, it's dense, but it's also silky smooth. I took my pound cake pan out the freezer, and as you can see, that coating has completely frozen onto the pan. So I'm just going to start pouring my pound cake batter into my pound cake pan, trying to tilt and get as much of it in there as possible. You do not want to save any pound cake mix. And as you can see, it completely fills up the pan. I think I have maybe an inch of space left. So like I said, this is a very tall cake, and it's also a very good cake as well. So, it can feed a lot of people. I'm spreading it around with my spoon, and then I'm just going to kind of tap it to get rid of those air bubbles and kind of turn it around and tap it some more. I want to say in total, I gave this around 15 to 20 taps. So you want to do that just to get rid of all those air bubbles. It's going in a 325-degree oven for an hour and 25 minutes exactly. Now, every oven is different. Your bake time is going to depend on your oven. But once a toothpick comes out clean with nothing on it, your cake is completely done. So I'm just checking all sides of the cake. And as you can see, this cake looks beautiful. Now, I was kind of nervous at this point because I hadn't used the cake goop before. This is my first time using it. So I was kind of nervous if it would actually slide out or it would stick. But I put my cake board on top of the cake. I let it kind of cool for at least 5 to 10 minutes. And as you can see, I was pleasantly surprised that it did not stick at all. And it came out great. Look at it, no stickage. Those little white spots are kind of like flour that was in the cake goop mixture. But other than that, I'm very, very happy with this. It came out clean. This was my first time using cake goop. So now I'm going to be using cake goop for now on, because I do have a full jar of it. So I'm very, very happy with this. Now, while the cake is warm, I'm going to saran wrap it and put it in the refrigerator. And this is a process called sweating the cake out. It just helps make the cake a lot more moist. And so in about 30 minutes to an hour, I'm going to take it back and I'm going to make my glaze. So I got another lemon, and I'm just juicing that lemon in the same way we juiced the lemon in the beginning of the video. Just make sure I'm removing all the pulp and the seeds. And this is another 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice out of both of those lemons. And I'm going to add this to 2 cups of Domino's powdered sugar. Then I'm going to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of warm milk. Now this is warm whole milk, and you want to adjust the consistency to like how you like it. As far as your glaze goes, if you like it slightly thinner, add some more milk. If you like it thicker, add less milk. But however you like your glaze, definitely do it like that. I like mine somewhere in between, so you can see it's pourable, but it's still thick, and when it cools, it's going to look very, very nice. Now I'm just going to glaze my whole cake and then let it drip to the side. Any excess at the bottom of this cake, like all the excess you see dropping from the cake, I'm going to take a spoon and kind of, add it back to the top of the cake to give it a little bit more of that drip effect. So I'm adding it along the sides. Now, if you bake your cake in a Bundt pan, you're not going to need the amount of glaze that I need. Being that this is a circular pound cake pan, I needed a lot more glaze than if I was using a Bundt cake pan. But yeah, you're going to let your pound cake glaze kind of set up for around 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're going to cut into it and you can enjoy it. If you enjoy watching this video, give it a like and make sure you subscribe. Also, like I said, my pound cake, Southern Pound Cakes 1 through 4 ebooks are available in my bio. Thank you guys for